What's up, YouTube? Tan and 2SS. I'm back with another video. Today's video, I'm going to tell you how you can get a job in tech without learning to code. That's right, you can make tech money, you can be in the industry without knowing how to code whatsoever. I'll tell you the steps, I'll tell you the resources. I'm going to get into all that once we get into the video. But before we get into the video, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can be notified of all future videos. Let's get into the video. Okay, so we're not going to waste any time, not going to beat around the bush. We're just going to get straight to the information. So, perhaps the easiest way to get a job in the tech field is to become a QA tester. Now, what is a QA tester? It's a quality assurance tester. And basically, their job is to find bugs in code, right? Their job is to make sure that features work the way that it's intended to work. So I'll give you a day in the life of a QA tester, right? So typically in the industry, we use a like a project management tool called Jira, and all Jira is there's tickets, and those tickets are assigned to a specific developer. So a ticket is just work that needs to be completed, right? So a ticket can be creating a header or creating a footer or creating an image slider or a button, or it can be anything that is needed for that project, right? So within that ticket, it's going to list everything that's needed within that ticket as far as acceptance criteria, right? So let's say the developer needs to create let's say there's a ticket for an image slider, right? So the acceptance criteria would be there's a left and a right arrow. When you click the left or right arrow, the image would slide to the left or right, showing the next image in that slide, right? So what the QA tester would do is actually test that that feature works. They would actually click those buttons to make sure that that image would slide either to the left side or to the right side. They just validate that that acceptance criteria for that ticket has passed, and that's basically it, right? That's what they would do throughout the day, right? So let's say there's a ticket for that image slider. The developer pushed the code. The tester goes to test it. They click the left button, the image slides to the left. They click the right button, the image doesn't go anywhere, right? It doesn't slide. The image doesn't slide. It just, there's no functionality, right? So then you have a bug, right? So the tester would comment in that ticket, I'm gonna fail this ticket, meaning that this ticket didn't pass the acceptance criteria, because the criteria was that, you click the button, it goes to the left, click the other button, it goes to the right. So that ticket would fail. So they would create a new bug ticket which says that the right button doesn't work for the image slider. So then the developer would bring that ticket in and repeat the process all over again. Once the developer completes the code, the tester would then go in and do the same test, click the left arrow, click the right arrow. If the image slides, it would pass, right? It passes the acceptance criteria, and the QA tester would basically gives it the thumbs up. Now, why is this important? Well, developers, as developers, we create a lot of bugs, right? It's just part of the job. It's part of programming. If no matter if you're a novice or the most experienced programmer ever, there's going to be bugs, right? There's going to be things that don't work the way that you intended them to work. And QA testers are basically our backup, right? We do testing of our own as well. We try to find any bugs that we can in the code before it goes out, like before we push it, and create a pull request and merge it into our code base. We try to make sure that everything works as intended. But sometimes bugs just pop up, right? Some things just don't work. And QA, like I said, QA just validates that everything works the way it should, so we can move on to the next phase of the project. But there's a couple different types of testers, and one tester makes a little bit less than the other, but we'll get into that in a second. So, just to expand on quality assurance testing and uh, software testing and why it's important. Um, it's very important to find bugs in software. Uh, if software ships out to the public with bugs, um, depending on what it is, it could lead to dire circumstances, right? If you have a bug in an airline software, right, for an airplane, which has actually happened. It happened a few times. There's been bugs in NASA software. There's been bugs in Boeing software, to the point where the displays in the cockpit would go blank. There's been bugs in finance software where this one company lost like $440 million in like 45 minutes due to a software error. There's been a lot of cases where a lot of bad things have happened due to bugs, right? So it's very important for these bugs to be caught before they can cause loss of life or like financial harm or just annoyance, right? I know if you're a video game player, you're well aware of bugs in video games, right? If you say you're playing a basketball game and you go to take a jump shot and the game just glitches, right? It just some weird animation happens. That's a bug, right? That's a bug in the software, and it leads to a bad user experience. So it's very important that we catch these bugs, and that's why software testing, quality assurance testers, that's why they're so important to the industry. So, one misconception that people may have when you hear of software testing or quality assurance testers is that because you're not developing code, that you may get paid less than developers. And that's actually a misconception. Software developer, or I'm sorry, software testers are paid on par with developers, depending on the company. I think the average salary for a software tester in the U.S. right now is somewhere north of like $91,000 a year. So it is definitely worth becoming a software tester if you're looking to get into tech, but you don't want to be a developer, right? You don't want to deal with code day in and day out. You'd rather just deal with features and finding bugs in code, and validating that things work as intended. So if you want to go that route, salary wise, software testing is definitely worth it. So now we're going to get into the qualities that makes for a good software tester. And I think the number one thing that you need in order to be successful as a software tester is analytical skills, right? You need to be able to think outside the box. You need to be able to break things, right? So you have to be inquisitive. You have to be just a person who just thinks differently. Just because something works a certain way, you want to try to break it, right? You want to try to make it work in a way that it's not supposed to work, just to validate that it works as intended. And that's good, right? You just want to be able to break anything possible, because when it comes to applications, when it comes to software, when it comes to websites, users users have a way of breaking things, and it could just be the most simple thing, and users are able to break it and find the bugs, right? So it's your job to find these before the public finds them. And again, it's just basically thinking outside of the box. So let's say a developer created a calculator web application, right? And it has all the functionality. It has, multiplication. It has subtraction, addition. Everything, right? So as a tester, you would be testing that these functions work. 1 plus 1, 2 times 2, 4 divided by 7. Those things you want to test those things, but you also want to do weird stuff like 1 plus 1 equals clear 0. Like you just want to do combinations of things to try to break whatever it is that you're testing. So not only do you want to make sure that something fits the acceptance criteria, but you want to go a little bit above and beyond to try to find any other bugs in that application, right? And that way software is thoroughly tested before it's released out to the public. Another quality that software testers need to have is good communication skills. A lot of times you're going to have to interact with developers, and as developers, we have a tendency to think that things work right as they should. Sometimes we can't always replicate what the tester has found, right? The bug that they've uncovered. So the tester needs to be able to communicate effectively exactly what they found. For instance, let's say you're working on said calculator application. You find a bug that the addition isn't working as expected, but the developer may see that everything is working on their side, perfectly the way it's intended. So you might want to have to hop on a call, go to the developer's desk, depending on your organization, and actually work with that developer to show them exactly what you see on your machine, and be able to communicate that effectively. And you also have to have understanding as well, right? Sometimes things work as intended, but what you may find, so let's say you're working on a ticket again for that calculator application, and the ticket is that the addition works, 1 plus 1 equals 2, right? That it's supposed to be that way. But you being a great tester, you did the 1 plus 1 equals 2, but you also cleared it and hit the couple other buttons, with on or off or whatever, and it no longer worked, right? Technically, that ticket still passed, right? If 1 plus 1 equals 2, the acceptance criteria for that was met, right? So you would give the thumbs up for that ticket, but create bug tickets for the other things that you found. But being able to communicate that, some testers will try to fail the ticket because they found these other things that are happening, but it is unrelated to the ticket. So long story short, you just have to be able to communicate effectively to not only developers but to business analysts, stakeholders, anybody who has a hand in developing the application. You have to be able to communicate both verbally as well as written. It goes a long way, and it's very important for the role. So you may be asking yourself, how do I become a software tester? And that is a great question. There is a great website. It's called guru99.com. I'll, of course, leave a link to that in the description of this video. But it's a great resource to learn the software testing from A to Z. It teaches you pretty much everything from the skills that you need to be successful, as far as like soft skills, to the actual software that you'll be using in the industry, right? It kind of lays out a roadmap of exactly what you need to do. And so it will tell you to learn, the acronyms within software testing, learn the different areas of software testing, like acceptance testing and regression testing and black box testing, and all these different phrases that are used in the industry, and you'll know exactly what they mean, and you'll learn the different applications like Selenium and what was it, JMeter, I think is one of them. But again, it'll teach you everything, uh, to get started in the industry, and to just dive a little deeper in that. Once you learn the skills that you need to be a tester, again, this is all self-taught, right? You don't need to go to college for this. Once you learn the skills that you need, the best way to get experience is to look for freelance projects, right? Developers, there are a million developers, and they're always creating applications. And some of them, a lot of them, don't work for big companies. They're freelancers, or they're, everybody has an app idea, right? So they're trying to get their app created, and they're developing it. These people need testers, and there are websites where you can find the people creating applications that need to be tested. You can also test open source software, and open source software is free software that is developed by developers to just help people in the community, and the software is absolutely free. And because of that, again, it's not created by an organization, although some open source software is created by organizations. But yeah, you can easily just volunteer to test, that piece of open source software, to find any bugs, anything you can do to gain experience. That's stuff you can also put on your resume as well. And once you do enough projects and you feel comfortable with your knowledge and your skill set, then you can start to apply to companies, right? And get a permanent job instead of these freelance or contract positions. You'll then have the skills to be employed by one of the bigger companies that are paying, the six-figure salary. So that's kind of the path to get started in software testing. So there are two different types of software testers. There's, of course, like the manual testing, which is you're actually clicking every button and filling out every form, and doing all the things, manually, on a test cases, right? On a, case by case basis. And then there's the automated testing where you actually write, which it has a little bit of coding in it, right? You're actually writing test scripts to perform these tasks instead of actually manually doing these things. Now, uh, automated testing, people who can write test scripts and do a little bit of coding, um, they do make a little bit more money than your manual testers. Uh, but again, if you don't want to have to deal with, creating any code whatsoever, go the manual testing route. If you are inclined to learn a little bit of coding, as far as like creating scripts and whatnot, go the automated testing route. And if you go to automated testing route, you may find that you actually do like code, and you can kind of transition into a different role where they have a role called software developer and test, which is basically that's what they do. They just write tests for software all day. So yeah, it really just depends on your path. If you want to actually get into code, or you just want to just stay away and just do things manually. Both are excellent career options to start off in the industry. So I need you guys to do me a favor. Leave comments below. Let me know if you like these sorts of videos. There's a lot of different information that I can give about the tech industry, and not only about the tech industry, but actually how to do things. I can show you guys how to code. I can create tutorial videos. I can show you how to create passive income online. I know there's a lot of people who are interested in creating Shopify stores, and Shopify is an e-commerce platform where you can create your own store and sell products. There's also easier way or a way to create passive income using Shopify by using drop shipping. So basically what happens is you create a store and you can, let's say you're selling a t-shirt, right? You put a logo, whatever your logo may be on your t-shirt. Well, you can actually have a drop shipping company handle everything for you, right? So basically, you're buying that T-shirt from them at at a certain price point, and then maybe it'd be $12, right? But then you actually sell that shirt for $20, right? So you're actually making $8 on that purchase without you having to do anything. The drop shipping company handles creating the shirt. It actually handles shipping the shirt to the customer, and you're just sitting back, collecting the cash. So I can do videos on that. There's a lot of different areas. So just let me know in the comments if you guys are interested in learning that, and I can definitely create videos on those specific topics. And just like that, this video is done. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.